Hello, I'm Cheryl Nelson from Natural Chicken Health. Welcome to Chook Chat number 2, Summer Care in the Heat. But first, some feedback from our last Chook Chat number 1, Mites on Chickens. Erin from Wollumla suggested steeping garlic and rosemary in the oil for a period of time makes it a more pungent mixture to paint onto her chook's legs. Bob from Mount Barker suggested sprinkling diatomaceous earth around the coop and in the nesting boxes helps also to prevent mites. Summer heat. If you're feeling the heat, you can be guaranteed that your chooks are too. So any temperature over 40 degrees is critical for animal welfare. Chooks can't control their temperature by sweating, so they're really reliant on external and environmental factors. The fact is, on hot days, chooks can die without your care. We've put together some ideas that you can do to make your chooks more comfortable. So how do you know when your chooks are getting affected by heat? There are a few telltale signs. Probably the first one you'll see is their beaks are open, they're kind of panting a bit. They'll also have their wings out, trying to get some air under them. If they get really distressed, they'll actually lay on the ground with their wings out. But a good way to tell is to open the legs, if you can catch a chook without stressing it, because you don't want to do that on a hot day, but a good way to tell is to open their legs and put your hand in there and feel if it's hot. And if it is hot, you're going to really need to take some immediate measures. And probably the easiest way is to address their water and make sure they've got some cool water, because they drink a lot of water in the heat. So I freeze a lemonade bottle, pop that in the water, and that'll keep the water cool for at least a few hours. So that's an easy measure. It's always good to have a couple of rocks in your water, so as the bees can come up, sit on a rock and drink on a hot day themselves. One of the fastest way to reduce the heat of a chook that's really distressed would be to give it a cool bath. You could also look at some rescue remedy onto the comb or the feet of a chook is the best way for it to absorb it, or put some electrolytes into their water. Another very important factor in summer is to try and get into some shade. Chooks will naturally come under these heavily shaded fruit trees to escape the hot sun. It can also really help to wet the ground and the tree around where the chooks are, so I just do this when I can a couple of times a day, wet it around. They don't seem to like it immediately, but they will gather under there because it makes it a much cooler environment. Don't forget, if you're going to be out all day, put some extra bowls of water in the shade under the trees so as there's cool water for them to access when they want to. It's important to keep greens up to your chooks in summer. You can freeze your greens, give them a cabbage ball, a lettuce ball. They won't tend to eat as much in summer, especially grain. Avoid corn if you can. Corn is a really warming food, which is great in winter when you do want to keep them warm, but not in summer. So yeah, keep your greens up and keep them cool. One of Chook's very favourite food, and particularly on hot days, is a good chunk of watermelon. Think about the structure that your chickens are living in and around next to. It's important to have good ventilation. This is a westerly wall, so it's nice dense shade from that shed. So this is a relatively cool area all of the time. Oh, Have you factored your chooks into your fire plan? It's important to think about how you're going to capture them, if you can move them into an area and capture them, put them in cages to relocate if there's a fire coming. Well, that about wraps it up for Chook Chat 2. Be sure to be ready with a few things on hand to look after your chooks when those hot days come. And please give us some feedback if you've got any other ideas about how you care for your chooks in summer. See you soon. Bye. Remember, you can order your Super Mash online at naturalchickenhealth.com.au.